I hope y'all can hear me. Welcome to Daily Glitter. Welcome to March. All I want to say is, don't panic. If you need help, ask. Okay? Don't suffer in silence. Don't ignore. Just don't panic. It's funny because it was so hot yesterday. It was so hot yesterday, and today I wake up, it's chilly, and it's fucking thundering. Because the storm is about to come. And I woke up this morning with it on my spirit to just ask. God is going to put you in a position to where you have no choice but to ask somebody. Things are going to start happening very serendipitously. All the symptoms of like head itching, headaches, full body exhaustion, all that. It's for a reason. This energy was so heavy because of Mars. I sent my soul cousins a video. My right ear been itching like a motherfucker. I sent my soul cousins a video that I had recorded back in Sagittarius season, and the energy seems to be very relevant now. I told the women in the video, I said, you guys are not boys. I told the men in the video, you guys are not women. The energy that's happening between Venus and Jupiter today is catapulting you into an energy to where you go to where you're supposed to be. You are being catapulted into an energy to where you're supposed to be. And what you're fighting right now, you're fighting the part of that dark ego that doesn't want to let you go into the energy that you're supposed to be in. Right now, my heart hurts so bad. I got an ache in my chest. It's funny because it makes me think of the song Something in My Heart. Just kept playing. It kept playing over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, what is it? Why does it keep playing? She says, we've come too far to let it all in. I told you over and over again. Like, and God is like, this breakup is happening whether you want it to or not. They're leaving. The sense of entitlement that your ego has had over you has put you in very sticky situations. This breakup has been probably one of the hardest breakups you've ever gone through, breaking up with yourself. Because it gave me what I was talking about in that video about a toxic relationship. Your ego has had this toxic relationship with you where they like, well, you know, you always come back to me. And since the full moon in Virgo is coming up, this has us in the energy of, does this really make sense? Am I fully satisfied? Your dark ego, your pride is what's keeping you from asking for things. In my intuition, they told me to ask somebody something, and I was like, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then something was like, well, why not? And I'm like, I don't know, but no. It's my pride and my ego. In this phase in your life, you know exactly who you need to be talking to and who you don't need to be talking to. And for some reason, the people that are actually here to help you, you are literally repelling to them. You're really pushing yourself off. You're closing yourself off from them, from just talking to them and being vulnerable. And I'm speaking out of experience right now. One problem got solved with one phone call. I felt like yesterday was a test to see where you're going to panic. It's funny because this morning I had an opportunity to do something with a lack of integrity. I most definitely said no. It was just like, it wasn't there when I first got there, but then it happened to be there when I got back. When I started to feel this energy of stress and worry. I thought about it for a second. Then the second that I thought about it, I was like, no. No. God's timing is always right. But without God's direction, you're lost. I had like the biggest attack over me yesterday. And I should have known better because I didn't have my head covered, and that was my fault. Making me paranoid over in my mind, knowing there's nothing wrong. There's always a way. There's always an option. There's always this. It's if you are going to allow God's direction to play out in your life. It's funny because last night before I went to sleep, I read Psalms 91. Today, the Bible verse of the day is from Psalms 91. We got in this comfortable energy where we felt like they would do things for us, and then they kept telling us that, no, you are going to have to do something. If you want to move, you're going to have to start looking for the apartment. If you want a better relationship, you're going to have to start working on yourself. If you want a better job, you're actually going to have to start applying. If you're going to have to do something to get the energy moving, because they're trying to do things that are in front of you. Present moment problems are personal issues. Pride is the devil. Pride is the devil. And it's just part of your ego, and there's just part of your mind that's just like exhausted. Yesterday I told God, I said, I'm exhausted. I don't want to have to figure this out. He said, okay, well, you're going to have to ask for help. Huh? I did. I asked you. He said, yeah, but I put physical people in your life to be able to help you, so why don't you just ask them? But I guess he wanted to see, what are you going to do in a scared mindset? February we had a lot of purging of a scared mindset. It was testing your ability to see how proactive you can be. How uncomfortable, how much can you sit in discomfort without doing something as a lack of integrity? That's all God needed to see. If the end of February was a little bit rough for you, that's all God needed to see. He just needed to see where you're going to continue to act in an energy of integrity. Because before you're blessed with something, the Lord needs to see how you handle things. And if you handle things out of a shicey energy, out of a lack mentality, out of some type of scared mindset, He can't trust you with something big. So He needs to see, how are you going to act? Different tests were popping up to see how you were going to act. I had 3 of them. I almost failed. If I had lacked boundaries, I would have failed. If I had lacked morals of myself, I would have failed. If I hadn't grown out of a mindset that I used to be in, I would have failed drastically. And I kept telling myself no. And I still had a very high integrity about things and how I handle things, because at the end of the day, your reputation means more than anything. How you stand about yourself. That's a big thing that I keep hearing God say. How do you stand about yourself? From the 20 something to like the first, there was nothing astrologically really going on majorly. And I know I'm outside cars, I'm sorry, but you know. From the 22nd all the way to the 1st, there was nothing astrologically going on. The last thing that happened was Mercury in Aquarius did something with Mars. Today, that Jupiter and Venus in Aries, which is basically like a reset, are happening on a Wednesday of Mercury, and Mars is in Gemini of Mercury, and Aries is the planet of Mars. How did you do? The last week, how did you do? I told y'all about this article that I found that is 7 days, the breaking the habit with the 7-day rule. So each day had these things, and I'm going to read them so you guys can, know what I'm talking about. Because I had to follow this, and I had to realize that was the energy from the 22nd all the way to now. This is what it was. It says, hold on. I wonder if I put my, I'm scared if I put my headphone in, the sound gonna be trash. Oh, it don't even matter. Okay, so it says, get rid of an unhealthy habit with the 7-day rule. So, here we go. So, I know Wednesday is Wednesday, but we're going to say Wednesday was the beginning of trying to break these habits. And in the video that I posted, I was talking about how you need to know it's a habit. And stress and worry was a habit. A lot of those things that y'all have, attached to you are habits. It's a habit for you to try to suffer in silence. It's a habit for you to run back to the people that you cut off because you're in a sticky situation, instead of going to the people that literally are there to help you. See, the people that are here to help you, you kind of stand back from them, but you go back to the people that don't really fuck with you. So they can, hold it over your head? So Monday, wake up and own it. Okay? Tuesday, it is important to observe yourself in the actual moment that you're doing the problematic behavior. Say to yourself, here I am doing the habit. Then the habit is no longer automatic or unconscious. This begins to take away its power over you. Okay? Now, I want you to think back from Wednesday. What leap of faith did you take? And how did the week go? I promise you, the beginning of the week was the energy that you were embodying, because that's what you were supposed to be in. That was the most purest version of you. If you took a leap of faith, that was the most purest version of you. Whatever you saw right then, whatever you wanted right then, all that stuff, because it put it out in the energy that when Mercury did something with Mars, it put it out in the air energy of like, this is what I want, this is what I see, and this is how my mind is being reprogrammed. There's this energy of your mind being reprogrammed last week, okay? And I'm telling y'all, the habits were lack mentality, stress and worry, drugs, all that shit. I'm trying to tell you. But as the week went on, the harder the habit started to push you, because the habit is a part of the devil. The devil is a part of an ego. The ego is a part of you that is dying off to be rebirthed, because that part of you keeps you in an old cycle. Okay? So then Wednesday says, determine the real cost of your behavior. Okay? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By Friday, what was the real cost of your behavior, of your lack mentality? I'm going to go ahead and speak for a testimony. My bad habit is stressing and worrying and overthinking. When I have to figure out a problem, when it's time for me to fix a problem, sometimes I create other problems instead of just fixing the problem that I need. I already knew what it was when I got to where I got to. So therefore, the fact that I really put myself in a position to stress was kind of quite preposterous. Every single time I asked along the way, the person I was supposed to ask or talk to God about it, God said, it's solved, it's taken care of. So if you didn't do the out of the norm of actually stepping out of your comfort zone to ask something or to do something, you caught yourself in that habit again. If somebody is offering you the assistance to say, hey, I want to help you, why are you taking that for granted? Because that's a lack mentality. The past makes it feel like that you're not going to be in the same you're going to be in the same situation again. It's okay to ask for help. God is putting you in a position to where you start to be more vocal. With the Mercury in an Aquarius, it means the Queen and King of Swords. They speak with intelligence. I remember one day I was talking to somebody. It was on Friday. It was funny. It was on Friday, and I caught myself like being more emotional about the conversation instead of like logical. So then it made me spiral down into this negative mindset. So as soon as I had the negative mindset, I literally saw 666. And when you see 666, it's talking about refocusing your thoughts. Your thoughts are negative. Why are they so negative? Why were they negative? Because of the fact that I couldn't stomach that what somebody was telling me was actually the truth. Come Saturday, the day of Saturn, it was the day of, on the pattern, I can't remember if I screenshotted it or not, but it was coming up with these realizations about how certain things about yourself were coming up in a way of like hindering you. So I looked at the pattern, and they had me look at the relationships, and they had me look at the relationships because Venus is going into Aries, Venus was in Aries or whatever. So if Venus is in Aries and is starting over, there's this energy about you that's having to really step into Libra energy of, okay, how can we solve this? But it's also having you step into Scorpio energy of that Mars energy of creating a change within everything and actually being open to change. Instead of trying to be Mr. Independent, you come together to you can be very powerful as a group. Not codependent. Okay? It's somebody actually saying, I want to help you. Let me help you. Those words were spoken to me, and I literally was like, I can't go down that. I can't go down that hole again, because I remember last time somebody said they wanted to help me. It didn't go too well. God said, "But this is not that." Remember, I kept telling y'all, this ain't that. This ain't that. Okay. Thursday says, delve deeper into the reasons for the problem. So on Sunday, as I'm sitting and I'm processing things, I'm realizing that so many things are coming up that were triggering me. I was being very triggered by certain things. I was being triggered by what was being said. I was being triggered by having to get out of my comfort zone, being uncomfortable. I was being triggered. As the week went on from last Wednesday, the harder the energy was hitting you. The more you wanted to go back into what you used to do. The more you wanted to just be like, no, I'll suffer in silence. I'll figure it out on my own. And God is like, this is not going to be a you problem. This is not going to be a you thing. The only thing you needed to do was get yourself to this new energy. This new energy actually is where you are able to embrace others. Friday says deal with the real issues. You need to confront the things that you have been avoiding that fueling your bad habit. Are there tough conversations to be had or difficult emotions to be felt? Maybe you're buried issues and emotions from childhood or teens, whatever they are, it's time to front up. On Friday's energy was Monday. Monday's the moon. All these emotions from childhood kept coming up, and I kept saying, like, I remember when I felt like this because of that. I remember when I couldn't get myself this because of that. I remember when they treated me like this. I remember that. And it was just like that Sagittarius energy kept coming up of like, it made me start to really call people that I already cut off to help me. Because that's a toxic thing. I know you're going to come back. You need me. No, I don't. I don't need you. I don't need you. And you're not going to have that power over me. This power struggle that y'all been having, the ego was attached to other people. I don't even think people realize that. I didn't even know I realized that. My ego was attached to other people. So the part of me that wanted to run back to them is the same part of them that fed their ego that I make them feel more powerful. That, oh, she's such a powerful person, but she needs me. I don't need you. I only have room for the people that want to help me. Thank you. God provides my necessities, and I go get what I want. So people want me in their life. I want them in my life. They want to help me. I hope this makes sense. Because then we get to Saturday. It says, stop yourself from slipping back by making the old habit more difficult to do. On Tuesday, I made a video, and it's funny because yesterday was the last day of February. I said, this is the last day you're going to be in this energy. This is the last day you're going to be in this energy to where you sit here and you dive into stuff and you just put yourself in these predicaments to where you feel like you got to be you against the world with your sword. Put the sword down, baby. Put the sword down. It was certain aspects of myself that I will say I felt like I couldn't process the fear. I couldn't process the anxiety. Last night showed me I'm going to stand on what I believe in, and I'm going to stand on myself. This morning I woke up, and the first thing I did was say, I got to ask for help. I need help. And I'm not going to be prideful to ask for help. I'm not. I'm not going to allow the father wound stop me from receiving help. I'm not. I realize that. I'm okay with the bare minimum because that keeps me in a safe place. If you take care of this, that's fine. That keeps me in a safe place. But if I need something big to happen, I got to do that on my own. If I'm in a position of where I got to figure out survival skills, I got to do that on my own, because if I reach out and I do something, it's going to come with more stuff. One phone call, everything was taken care of, and it wasn't deemed on me as, oh, what are you doing? What is this? What is that? It was, what do you need? Seven days was probably one of the hardest 7 days that we've experienced in the physical in a long time. And it was to see if they could trust your integrity. See if they could trust your power. See if they could trust your ego, your vulnerability, your emotions. Yesterday had a lot of tears because it was a whole bunch of purging. Today I started to cry, and the way my tears dried up was like, look, suck that shit up. Because at this point, you want to continue to be in this position. You have the option. You don't want to take it. Out of what? Ego? This really got to me. This message really got to me. Because I kept feeling like I'm doing something wrong. But the way I feel, I don't feel like I'm doing something wrong. My mind was playing so many tricks on me because it was so much air energy. Today's Sunday. Sunday says, stay positive and committed. Don't use slip-ups as a reason to give up. Expect them and just move on. It takes 30 days for a new habit to form. Melodies from heaven rain down on me. The ghost, hold me, wait, fill me with your precious Holy Ghost, rain down on me. I put God to the test yesterday. And he put me to the test yesterday. He says, I want to see. And it's funny because I was talking to one of my soul cousins, and it was just crazy how God put it on my spirit to call them. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to deal with nobody. I was closing myself off, and God says, don't close yourself off. So I called my soul cousin. It was just crazy. We was up talking. It was just like we was in the energy of just like, hey, it's okay. Hey, talking. You know what I'm saying? We had a little bit of a Bible study. We was praying. We was being honest. We was. We was being honest. And what God kept saying was, I need you to be in position. I realized that I couldn't go nowhere. I'm like, I can't move right now. Like, why can't I move? Like, what the fuck? God's like, because I need you to stay in that position. You've been in position. You don't realize you've been in position. If resources hasn't been there, money hasn't been there, it's because God needs you to be in the position. He needs you to stay in that position. I hear God saying, I need you just to stay in that position. Because if you would have had more money, if you would have had more this, if you would have had more resources, you would have left. You would have left. I needed you to stay in position. I needed to see where you're going to stay in position in a time of need. I needed to see what you was going to do when you didn't have nothing. I needed to see it. 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 I tested God yesterday, and God tested me. I tested God yesterday, and God tested me. I was calling and calling and calling and calling and calling. I was trying. I took my last dollar. I did. I took my last dollar, and I went to go pay a scratch off, and I won $1. Played again, and I ain't went on the second ticket. I didn't even give a fuck. But I tested God. God said, okay. I just want to see how you was going to act. I just want to see how you was going to move. Don't put me to the test, because I'm not letting money control me. I'm not letting money control me. I had so much gratitude for where he had me in the position, because I realized that in that same position, he was removing me from something. Some of y'all don't even realize that was the last time you're going to be in that position. Yesterday was the last time you was going to be in a position like that. And your position is personal to you. But something tells me yesterday was the last time you was going to be in that position. Because I woke up and I almost started to stress. I almost started to panic. I couldn't do it. I went back to sleep. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm about to just go back to sleep. When I woke up, I was like, all right, I got to put my pride aside. As soon as I did that, fix. I was so grateful for last night. I was. Because it just was like, it could be worse. I could be in a way worse situation. But this is where I'm at. And I'm okay. It's like I felt like I had all these angels. And I felt like I had all this protection around me. I felt like I just had all this protection around me. Because I wasn't bothered. When I kept getting woken up out of my sleep, I realized it was only the devil trying to play tricks on my mind. It was. The devil was trying to play tricks on my mind. Nothing was happening. Ask for help if you need it. I got this pain in my heart. It's like in my chest. I love y'all. I really hope y'all can hear this. I know it's noisy, but I had to get this out. I had to get this out. Because I knew it was coming up and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, yo. And it's crazy because I was on my cycle. Like, it just was so heavy of the energy trying to beat my ass. And you know, when you on your cycle, you are literally like, you need to be apart from people. Because you can take up all that energy. When I tell y'all, I couldn't even be apart from people. It's like every single time the devil had time to get me like around people, it's just like all this energy was just built up. I had to like make sure I paid attention to all the things that I was consuming on social media. Like I just had to like, thank you. I had to literally like take it step by step, day by day. Like if I was getting overstimulated real fast. I told my soul-coach yesterday, I said, I don't want to hear no inspirational shit. I don't want to hear no motivation shit. I don't want to hear no sermons. I don't want to hear nothing. I just need to hear God. I don't want to hear nothing but God right now. And it got nothing to do with it, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't want to hear none of that shit. I don't want to manipulate my mind into that toxic positivity. I got to be able to do this on my own right now. I don't need to hear somebody saying, I hear deliverance, or, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I see manifestation. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I need to hear God right now. And I need God to hear me. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear nobody else's testimony, because your testimony not going to be like my testimony. I need to hear my testimony. I need to hear my voice. I need to hear my struggles. I need to hear my pain. I need to hear myself. And I need to hear God. I can't hear nobody else right now. That should be all good to keep your spirit up, but when your spirit already up, ain't nothing else but to keep your mind right. My spirit is already fine. I got to get my mind right, and I don't need you manipulating my mind right now for having me thinking positive things. No, I need to be able to process through these emotions, because I got to get them the fuck out of me. I got to get them out of me. I have to get them out of me. And I just kept saying that to myself. I gotta get that shit out of me. I don't want to hear no fucking frequencies. I don't want to hear none of that shit. I want to hear I want to hear this transformation. I want to hear this breakup. I want to hear this detachment. I want to hear this disconnection. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Because you taking so much time. You taking so much space. You taking energy. So what do you have to say? Because after you say what you got to say, I'm done with you. We're done. Bitch, say what you gonna say. Do your shit. That's it. And that's exactly how I told God. I just kept it a buck with him last night. I said, bro, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. And I felt like he was just impressed. Like you don't want to hear nothing positive? No. I want to hear what I need to hear right now. Because after I hear this shit, that's it. When I woke up from this little nap that I had, that was it. I said, nigga, no. That's it. We're done. I don't regret nothing that I did before today. Because everything got me to this exact point, and I'm in a position now to where I know God can't do nothing but bless me. So therefore, I'm cool now. I went through the storm. I went through the death. And it's funny because yesterday I watched Travelers, and I only got to watch the first 3 people that died. And when they died, it was just like everything of their crown, and my head was just itching so bad. When I woke up, I felt like somebody was like pulling my hair, like pulling me up like this in my sleep. Woke up, nobody was there. All these weird ass dreams and downloads and shit like that, I take all that shit out my mind. I kept having this thing of like that there were people where I was and there was nobody there, and it was just like I couldn't see. It was like my hair was on top of my eyes and I just couldn't see, and I couldn't see. And it was just like somebody was trying to lead me, and I just kept saying, no, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I felt like I couldn't get my body up. I'm sleeping, I can't get my body up. Everything was just so hard to do. Everything was like slow motion. Everything was very heavy. Whatever was trying to be released in my sleep, they did not want me to release it. Okay, that's it. My heart feel like it's just like, it's shattering. The ice around my heart is just shattering. That's it. Ooh, I know y'all saw my eye switch. That was it. I feel like I see things so differently now. Love y'all. Bye.